let's dive into the NFT thing. What is an NFT?
Yeah, well, let me start by, taking it back to my book, and the second part being preparing for the future. One of the chapters is on investing in continuous learning. I'm a big fan, believer, and call myself a lifelong learner. I think we always need to be learning and looking into new things because, as I mentioned, the world is changing so fast. So this is one of those things that came along that I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I think I need to look into this a little bit and see where it's going. And then the more I looked into it, I was like, oh, this is where the whole world and the economy is going. I need to look into this more. I'm excited about this. I want to invest in this. And then as I got deeper and deeper into it, and I've invested a lot, thinking, okay, we're really early into the space. I think everybody else is coming. So now I have an opportunity, A, to educate other people and help other people who are getting into this space, and B, build a brand around it so that when the companies come and they're like, we need to find somebody who is an expert on this, I've established myself in that space. Because the other chapter in preparing for the future is on building a personal brand. And as you mentioned, I'm already seeing it. I started this podcast 2 weeks ago. I just started sharing a little bit on social media. I'm already getting requests to speak in groups about NFTs. You're asking me about it on here. And there's lots of people that know about it, but I'm building the brand on it just because I've been mentioning it in different places. So to back up, NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's essentially a digital asset, any type of digital asset that you can buy, trade, sell, exchange for other things. Now, the reason why it's non-fungible is that a fungible token or a fungible asset is something that is easily exchanged for something else. It doesn't really matter what it is. So people talk about dollar bills or Bitcoin, one Bitcoin exchange for there doesn't matter. The way I like to explain is you think about going to a concert or a sporting event. If Greg, you and I are going to see a concert at a theater, and there are some specific seats in the front, but there's also like that general admission in the back, right? If we both had GA, general admission tickets, we can exchange those. Like, you don't care if you take mine or yours, right? They both get us into the event in the same place. Versus if you had tickets to see, Taylor Swift or whoever it is, right, on Wednesday, and you were in row B, seat 6, and my ticket was in row Z, right, or BB, like way in the back, you wouldn't want to just exchange that to me, right?
Right.
We would have to have some type of different trade where maybe I offer you extra money to move up closer because your ticket is worth more than mine. Yours is fungible. It's a unique seat that is not the same as any other seat or vantage in that arena, in that theater. And it's the same thing with non-fungible tokens. Each asset is unique. And then the great thing about the NFT space and these being digital assets and being traded on what's called the blockchain, which is essentially thousands or millions of computers around the world agreeing on transactions, is that everything is documented and recorded on the blockchain. And so I know exactly, like, if you offer me those tickets, I know that they're real. I know where they came from. I know when you bought them. Like, all of that is kind of public to see, and you can't really fake things out, right? So in this area, I think about art, right? If you were going to buy a really expensive piece of art, obviously art's been traded and bought for hundreds of years. And if you're buying it from a reliable source, you trust them, right? But let's say you go to a museum or something, whatever, a shop, and they're selling you a print from one of your famous artists. And they say, this is a 1 of 100. There are only 100 of these in existence. Well, how do you know that's even true, right? Maybe, or how do you even know that it was actually done by that artist, unless that artist is right there telling you, like, yeah, I did this. Well, there might be a certificate of authenticity, but again, that's just a piece of paper that honestly could probably be forged, right? Usually not, but it's possible. Whereas when things are digital, they're on the blockchain, you can easily verify who made it, where it came from, when it was created, when it was sold, all that stuff. You can kind of see the quote unquote paper trail on it. And so that's why I think it's really interesting as we get into this world of digital assets. And even though I know a lot of people look at it on the face and go, well, why would I want a digital picture when I could have the real thing on my wall? It's because it's something that is very easy to take with you. There's rarity, there's scarcity, and it's easy to track and keep that in what we call sometimes a digital wallet or a decentralized location, so that you know you own that and nobody can really take that away from you. And that's something I'm really excited about. And I think that as we move more into the quote unquote metaverse, right, that we've been starting to hear more about, people live in this kind of digital world, you'll be able to show off your digital assets that you've purchased or you've acquired. And I think we as humans are social creatures. I think we have a long history of liking to show off the things that we have, whether it's a nice car or a house or a t-shirt or a hat or a handbag, whatever it may be. And I think we're going to want to show off the digital assets that we have as well. And, it may seem weird for some people right now, But 10 years from now, I think that it is what everybody's going to be doing. And so that's why I'm so fascinated in investing a lot in this space.
I got a million questions.
You want to, I mean, I just got one question. How the heck do you make money on it?
So how you make, there's a lot of different ways, but right now, the biggest thing is to think of them as collectibles, digital assets. And because of rarity and scarcity, they tend to go up or down in value based on market demand, right? So you can think of it a bit like the stock market. You can think about it like a market for art. There's a website called OpenSea.io, which is kind of like the eBay of NFTs. And you can go see collections all the time, and you can see things, what people are asking for, how much they want for their NFTs that you own. And there's new projects coming out all the time. But if you buy something and then the next day or the next month or the next year, more people want it, then the price is going to go up. And if people don't want it, the price is going to go down, right? Same with real estate, same with stocks. There's a scarcity to it. There's only a certain number, just like when you buy real estate, there's only so much real estate in the Jacksonville area, right? And if Jacksonville becomes a more popular place to live, then real estate goes up. And if people decide they don't want to live there, then the price of real estate goes down. It's all about market dynamics and supply and demand.
Man, this whole world this whole new world is really cool and exciting, scary. And I feel very dumb many times, like trying to understand this stuff. So I was just thinking about this before the show, and let me know if I'm on the right track as to why this has value. Right. So like, I think about gamers, right? I think about largely young kids that are in the gaming world, and, they're playing video games and they spend real dollars for like skins or other valuable things, like a special, I don't know, whatever, a special thing.
You mentioned skins are like, I think the most common thing, right?
Okay.
Different things they wear in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a business model in the world right now. It has been around for, 5 years, 10 years, this gaming world where like people are spending real dollars for these digital assets. And so if I'm understanding that, and now I'm expanding beyond that, it starts to make sense to me how in the business world, or call it the rest of the world other than the gaming world, how there would be value for you in your digital self to surround yourself with a nice piece of art, or I don't know, an NFT on really anything. Am I understanding this right? Am I making that connection the right way?
You absolutely are. And I'm not a gamer. I haven't really played many video games since I was probably in high school, but I have heard a lot about this. And you're right. Like a lot of the younger kids, teenagers are playing these games like Fortnite and World of Warcraft, where you can purchase skins and, wear different ones to kind of show off who you are, your style, what you've bought. And I think they're just going to get it, which is why I think we're going to move to this so fast. And it's also an example of how people like to show off the things that they have, right? And I think many of us do, whether it is a car or a handbag or something else, right? It tells a t-shirt, it tells people about who we are. And I think those digital assets absolutely will do the same thing. And when we are all spending more time in the metaverse, which I think is coming, right? Whether we like it or not, then we'll be able to show off some of those digital assets. And they might mark different things. It might not necessarily be about clothes or skin or art, right? It could be about access to certain things or association with certain influencers or artists that you follow or you support. And here's one of the things that I think is really cool, especially from an investing standpoint. I think there are a million possibilities with this, but one of the possibilities that gets me really excited is that artists, creators, musicians, entrepreneurs can start to release digital tokens as a way to, kind of crowdfund money to support what they're doing. And you as a fan or follower can buy into that to support them, which in a way is like almost like buying equity in someone that you follow. And how many times have you become a fan of an artist, a musician, an entrepreneur, whoever it is, you're like, I wish I could buy stock in them. Like they're going places, right? And this creates that opportunity. And then how many times, for your audience listening, like how many times have you become a fan of a musician, a band, an artist early on, and then they make it big and you're like, man, I knew them back when nobody knew them. I was a fan. And sometimes people almost get angry, like, oh, they sold out, they're big now, like I don't care anymore. But what if they had sold, an early collection of digital tokens, NFTs, to raise money, and you bought into that, and now everybody wants them and they're worth a lot more money, and you actually have like a stake in their journey. And as they become more successful, then your NFT collectible that you bought becomes more valuable, and you're rooting for them even more. And I think it's just a lot of possibility in this. And, just for example, as Pablo knows, the reason I got into NFTs is because I follow Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. He got big into NFTs earlier this year and started educating on his podcast and his content. And then he launched his own project in May, which I bought into. And I was already a big fan of his, but now I'm rooting for him even more to build his brand, because as he becomes more popular and more people want to be part of that, then there's more demand for those tokens, those NFTs that I own, and the value of them goes up as a result, just like with stock, right? Like I've had Tesla stock for years, and as Tesla becomes more of a popular brand, more people want to be a part of it, and the stock becomes popular, as long as the financials make sense to people. It's a little bit different, but at the same time, it's all about how much do you believe in this person or this company or this entity in the future?
It seems like a really just like unlimited way of attributing some kind of inherent value to something.